home to Billy, won't you come home? She moans the whole day long. I'll do the cooking, darling. In the good old summertime, in the good old summertime, rolling through the shady lanes with your baby mine. You hold her hand and she holds yours, and that's the best.
Loving you and loving you, and if you will love me, one little two little one little three.
What is up, everyone? This is Phil the Kaiju King from my collection room in my house here in Greater Cincinnati, and today I will be doing an overview / review of my 30 centimeter resin figure of Titanicus, and I will bring him forward now. And here he is in all his glory, Titanicus, 30 centimeter scale. It is a resin figure. It does have some weight to it, of course. Detail on it is pretty amazing. As far as the story of the figure and the lore of the figure, it is a custom figure made by Titanic Creations. If you go to titaniccreations.com, you will find their website, and also if you search that on Facebook, Titanic Creations, you'll find them on Facebook. The concept of this is the real reason why the Titanic sank, not an actual iceberg, but it was an actual kaiju that sank the Titanic, in which he was henceforth named Titanicus. I love the concept of this figure, and the design of this kaiju is really unique and really cool looking, I think. As far as the actual figure, we'll start with the tail. There you go, there's how the tail lays out. As far as its actual form, it goes straight back from the main body, goes down to the ground, and goes straight up and straight back. So it's pretty much a straight shot back from the body. And back here towards the end of the tail, it has two protruding grayish iceberg colored spikes, and then his tail is there in the middle. So if you look at it from above, it looks like a pitchfork kind of. It's pretty cool. And then starting at the tail here where these protruding spikes go out is his back spike start really small, and they get bigger as it escalates down his tail. There's two rows on either side, and they get bigger and bigger as they go up the tail. Then there's four really bigger spikes. Then there's the iceberg spike, I call it, the main iceberg spike on his back, which is really huge, as you can see. And then up at the nape of his neck, there are a bunch of mini spikes that stick out on the back of his neck and head. But the tail is really wide. It's rather wide at the body. Big tail, pretty long tail, solid. The spikes, I do like the concept and the color of the spikes. They're a really light grayish color, signifying like what an iceberg would look like, because the one on his back does look like a rather large iceberg, which is the whole concept of the figure, that this kaiju sank the Titanic and not just an actual iceberg. As far as the front here of his figure, the toes nails, the claw nails on his hands, they are very detailed and pointy, actually, especially both his toenails and his fingernails are pointy. They're a light gray color in color, and they're long, especially his toenails are really long. They're not really so much wide, they're just long, and they stick really up. They do not touch the table at all, or the Lazy Susan. They stick up about 1/4 inch each one, so you have to be careful with this thing. And then the same for his sides of his legs, pretty beefy legs. And if you look here, the scaling on a lot of his body, his legs, his arms, up here by his iceberg spike, the scales, the scaling of his skin, it reminds me of the legendary Godzilla 2014/19. You can see it really defined there. It looks like the exact way the scales are for the legendary Godzilla, really, to me. It's pretty cool. The legs are nice and thick. Down here at the base of the leg towards the ankle, there are more spikes, but they're harder to see because they are colored the same as his skin, which is like almost a typical charcoalish gray like Godzilla. A lot of, pardon me, a lot of the Godzilla figures similar in color to this. But I like the tones of it. I like how the spikes on the back are a lighterish, grayish, iceberg type feel. And then the body, of course, is the more charcoal traditional gray. But his arms are really defined definition. Actually, looks like he's been working out. If you look at his arms, they're really muscular looking. Of course, he has 4 claws on each hand. 3 main claws and like a thumb type claw. On his forearm/elbow area, there is 3 spikes on either arm, 2 little smaller spikes below, and then 1 in the middle above them that is bigger and thicker. On his abdomen, of course, it looks like to me, if you look at it, it looks like just body armor. On his abdomen and his lower abdomen / I guess crotch area, it looks like pretty much like a body armor. It's light gray in color like the spikes are on his back, but it looks like it's some kind of a armor to help protect him, which is pretty cool. That's what I've been calling it, is it's like a body armor. On up to his head, his eyes are a flat, like just a white, like almost like the GMK Godzilla, but they're small. They're pretty small eyes. They're just a plain white. There's no pupil. His teeth are, it's a closed mouth form. So he's a closed mouth form, and if you look at him head on, it looks like he has a shit-eating grin on his face, like he just stole the canary or something. It's pretty cool. But his teeth are all protruding out of his upper jaw and over his lip all the way around his mouth in this closed mouth form. It's pretty cool. This horn on his forehead is rather pronounced and long, and it has a split in it there. It's like a mini horn on top of it, and then the protruding of the whole actual horn. And then if you look at him head on, his spikes on the side of his head / upper head, lower neck area they're just little tiny spikes. He's got spikes everywhere. This thing has spikes sticking out literally everywhere. It's pretty crazy. But his details are pretty awesome, I must say, to be honest. And I do like the whole concept of the figure. I like this design of this figure. That's why when it went on pre-order and I'd seen the pictures and the whole concept of it, I decided to order it. And I believe if you go on TitanicCreations.com, there are still some of these available, actually, in the 30 centimeter resin figure. I will now bring up some size comparisons to go beside this guy to show off some scale. We will go to my first comparison right now. Welcome back, everybody. For my first quick size comparison with my 30 centimeter Titanicus, I have the 30 centimeter CCP Gamera 1999. Of course, Titanicus is a bit of a hunched forward figure, and Gamera usually always is a hunched forward. All my Gameras just about are hunched forward, except for my Showa Gamera 67 is pretty straightforward, and my big brand new Prime 1 Gamera, he's straight up. But all of my other Gameras are slouchers. But these look pretty cool together. Shows the scaling. I will have some X Plus figures as well to really help with scaling. They look pretty good together though. We'll go on to my next size comparison with Titanicus. I'm back, everybody, with another quick size comparison. This is my custom 30 centimeter King Kong 1976, side by side with my 30 centimeter resin Titanicus figure. I think Kong pairs up well with this big old heavy guy. That Kong is a custom, like I said, made by Mark Sing Yang. It's pretty good scaling, I'd say. Next, we will do some X Plus figures with some size comparisons of this Titanicus figure. Coming up right now. Alright, everybody, my next quick size comparison is two Titans, really. We have the 30 centimeter Titanicus along with the X Plus 30 centimeter Titanosaurus from the 1975 film Terror of Mechagodzilla. Titanosaurus is a large, tall figure, of course, pretty straight up, upright, so it does have the height on Titanicus by a long shot, probably an inch and a half at least, but this will show some scale to people. I'm sure a lot of people have this Titanicus. These next few figures will show hopefully good scale to people who have these X Plus figures. That's why I bring X Plus forth on stuff like this, so people can see actual scaling, gives them a good idea of the scale of Titanicus. On to our next size comparison right now. Alright, everybody, I'm back. Now I have Titanicus side by side with the 30 centimeter X Plus Gigant's 1972, my favorite Godzilla adversary right there. There's Showa Gigant. I'd say for sure Titanicus is a very competent and comparative figure with the 30 centimeter line. Looks really good with old Gigan here. The cyborg Kaiju, my favorite adversary for Big G. Alrighty, we'll do another quick size comparison coming up right now. Alright, everybody, my next comparison, I've had a aquatic Kaiju with Titanosaurus, which is also aquatic is Titanicus. So I figured I'd have a crawling Kaiju to compare with Titanicus, and this is the 30 centimeter Anguirus 1968 X Plus. A lot of people have this Anguirus. It's a favorite. It's a favorite of mine. It's a pretty awesome figure, but hopefully this does give good scale to a lot of people as to the scaling of this Titanicus figure. Alrighty, I'll go on to my final size comparison right now. Alright, everybody, I'm back with my final size comparison with the 30 centimeter Titanicus resin figure. I thought I'd bring a Sakai forward, and of course this is the bee's knees in almost everybody's opinion for the Sakais. This is the Yuji Sakai Godzilla 1991 X Plus, side by side with custom resin property such as Titanicus, and they look pretty cool together, I must say. As you can see with my comparisons, I've tried to bring in some figures I thought most people would have to help show scaling of this guy. And I thought I'd bring a Sakai. Everybody loves this guy, so I figured he would be a good pick for this. We will move forward with some closing comments right now. Alright, everybody, I'm back with Titanicus again here. after all my size comparisons. I pre-ordered this thing, and when it got shipped, they did a really good job with the shipping. He was packed up in an outer box, and the inner box was packed in the outer box, and then the inner box, he was inside of a styrofoam coffin, so he arrived safe and sound. He was very well packed, in my opinion. Like I said earlier, I do believe they still have some of this guy available on their site, and I think he's about $260, something like that, maybe. I'm not sure. I don't know if that includes shipping. So, but it's a heavy, nicely detailed figure, and I thought it was unique. I thought the story's unique, the figure's unique looking. That's why I decided to jump on it. I know I think they're having another 30 centimeter figure sometime later this year. I think it's called Nosferadon, and it's a really wicked looking kaiju. It looks demonic almost to me. I do believe that's the one they're releasing in 30 centimeter. They've also had some smaller scale, like 15 centimeter figures, but I'm more into the 25 or the 30 centimeters, so I'm waiting on more 30s, because if they give us more 30s, I'll probably definitely be getting on board with them, because this design is unique. That Nosferadon design is pretty unique as well. I hope you all enjoyed my video here. I'll do a closing close-up of this guy, and to close my video, I want to thank everyone for tuning in and spending time with me, and I appreciate you all. This is Phil, the Kaiju King. I'm going to be signing off from my collection room in my house, and you all have a wonderful day.